Did you know that a single event can cause you trauma? What is that single event that you have had that has traumatized you for a very long time? That is what we call acute trauma. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Phyllis Shiko, and make sure you subscribe to be our member here so that we can move together as we describe the type of traumas we are having in this society of ours. Therefore, a single event can actually cause you trauma. It is that one that gives you a racing heart when you remember that experience. Is it a car crash that you saw? That can cause you trauma. Is it that you saw a woman giving birth in a car? That can give you trauma. Is it somebody dying in your hands and you saw them breathing their last moment? That can also cause you trauma. That is why we call it's an acute trauma. It's a single event that has caused your mind not to be settled in one place. Therefore, sometimes you experience these things. Sometimes you sit alone and you fear. Sometimes you sit alone and you hear the bang of that car that hit somebody that you knew, or maybe you were involved in an accident with many other people and it keeps playing in your mind. That is why we say acute trauma is real also, and it is there that is affecting our life in one way or the other. That is why sometimes when you want to watch maybe a movie and you feel and you watch that car crash, all the flashbacks come back to the experience that you had had. Therefore, you live in fear. Whenever you see cars crossing or maybe overtaking or maybe overspeeding, and therefore you get that trauma back again and you start experiencing the same. That means it is an acute trauma. It means it is a one single event that have caused your mind to work on one side. Therefore, it creates a lot of flashbacks on that single trauma. That is why you also, when you are sleeping, you lack sleep, because of that one single event that you experienced. Especially if you lost somebody in your hands and they breathed their last and you didn't have anything to do. It was not in your power that you were able to do anything about it, but they just slept in your hands, and that was it, and that was a goodbye to you. So sometimes when you're sitting alone and maybe you're holding your hands and you feel like, okay, somebody is parting away from you. That trauma affects everything that you do. That is why maybe you can see a behavior like irritability. You can see somebody is irritated at every other time. You find them shouting at you. You find them, everything that is about you is about an argument, and they're arguing about things without you knowing. It is because of the irritability of the trauma they experience. So that is one of the behavior you will always experience with somebody who has gone through an acute trauma. They're always irritated by one thing or the other. Number two, you will always see somebody in acute trauma will always have flashbacks. That means they are playing back to the event that has caused that trauma. Maybe when they saw the mother giving birth, it traumatized them. And that is why you hear many men say, I don't want to go to the delivery room. I don't want to experience my wife going into labor because I experienced it and it brings back the flashbacks. And therefore, I don't want my wife anymore. I don't want to have sex with my wife because of that single trauma of giving birth when they are seeing. Therefore, we are all affected with acute trauma in one way or the other. It just depends with our ability to cope. And you remember, by the time we are talking about you having trauma, it means you have an inability to cope with that type of stress that is there, that whatever has caused that situation that you're in. And if you're not even having enough sleep, that is also another thing. You find yourself having intervals. We say your sleeping patterns have been affected in one way or the other. You sleep like for very nice 2 hours, then you wake up in 30 seconds, then you sleep again, and then there are intervals in between you and the reality that you're in, and therefore you have a disrupted sleeping pattern. That is trauma because of a single event. So what you need to ask yourself is, what is this type of event that actually gives me this trauma that I'm having? Because you might not experience it, but the people around you, I keep saying, they are the people who will be affected by what you are going through. Your trauma will affect the people that are surrounding you. You will not know, but the people around you will always tell you, because they will experience, it is called secondary trauma. Those are the people who are affected by you indirectly through the trauma you are going. Because you can imagine if you are irritated, it means you are not able to co-work with your colleagues very well. It means if you are traumatized by a single event and it keeps coming back to you, it means you are stressed up and therefore you're not able to think or reason reasonably, because you'll think people are attacking you. And maybe you're in the middle of you're talking with people or you're having fun with people and the flashbacks starts playing in your mind. Then it means you step back again, and then those flashbacks takes you back and the sadness comes in and the anxiety comes in, and therefore you are not able to concentrate into the conversation you're having with someone because of the flashbacks you're having on the trauma that you had on a single event. So acute trauma is that just immediate event that you have had and it has given you that trauma. It has given you that fear. You fear cars, you start fearing people, you start fearing hospital, you feel somebody telling you, I don't want to go inside the matatu, is because maybe somebody died in the matatu. You're walking with someone side by side and they say, I don't want to walk in this tiny road, I want the bigger road, because maybe they saw somebody being murdered on a very tiny road. So all these things that are coming, we call them acute trauma. Those are not very severe. They are going to go away with time, but it is going to take also some time depending on an individual purpose. This is not like chronic trauma where it will take a long time to cure it, but this one is just a one instant, but it can take you so long time for you to heal throughout your trauma. So therefore, you need to understand which type of trauma is affecting your brain. And that is why I keep telling people, check your mental health at every other time. Keep tabs with people in the mental health fraternity, so that you can be able to be assessing yourself. It doesn't mean in Kenya, if you go to Mathare Hospital, it means that you are sick or you are the one who is going crazy. It is only that you are taking care of your mental health, because people are sick, but people are not able to talk about it or move forward because they fear the judgment that people are going to give them, because they are going to be psychiatric, they are going to see a Mathare Hospital, they're going to visit another mental hospital, and it's all about you just being checked. Are you suffering from an acute trauma or a chronic trauma? Because acute trauma is what affects us in our daily life, because these are experiences that we experience in every other second that we are in. You can imagine the way I said the other day about Tutumishi. That was a traumatic experience, and therefore it will affect those children for the rest of their lives. So that one, it will depend on how the healing process of those children. Therefore, we need to think about, how am I getting support on how I'm going to move away from my traumas? How am I facing it? What is my ability? What is the space that I'm in? What can I do? Can I seek help? Can I seek counseling services? And we have so many therapists, we have so many counseling services that people can be reached to. So do not die there with the acute trauma, thinking that you're okay and you're fine and it's affecting you. Face it with the reality and come up and say, this certain experience has made me have this acute trauma, and I'm having this, and these are the patterns that and symptoms that I'm having, and this shows that I'm actually affected by that single event, and it is leading to my acute trauma. Accepting yourself is the start of your healing. Therefore, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Phyllis Shiko. Look for all our social media platform at Moses Basket Initiative, so that you can subscribe and we can be moving together as we look out at these possibilities that we are having on the trauma events and how we can come out of trauma and how healing can start in our hearts. We love you. See you in our next episode.